It seems former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn finally realized the benefits of not talking. He talked to a Russian ambassador, to the FBI, to the vice president, and to the Russia investigation prosecutors, digging himself in deeper. New lawyers somehow convinced him to stop, and he's being rewarded by having all charges against him dropped, charges that he initially pled guilty to. In one of the initial cases brought by special counsel Robert Mueller in the Russia investigation, while waiting to be sentenced, he reversed his guilty plea, and now months later, the Department of Justice is dropping the criminal charges of lying to the FBI about talking to the Russian ambassador when Donald Trump was still president-elect. Flynn was fired a few weeks after Trump's inauguration, accused of lying to the FBI as well as Vice President Mike Pence about his conversations with then-Russian Ambassador Sergei Kislyak. At the end of the year, he accepted a plea deal and started providing information to prosecutors. He was scheduled to be sentenced in December 2018 after providing substantial assistance in the investigation. At that sentencing, he admitted under oath that he was guilty. U.S. District Judge Emmett G. Sullivan said, "Arguably, you sold your country out," and warned he was likely to sentence him to time in prison and suggested he delay his sentencing. Flynn switched his legal team in the summer of 2019. His new legal team asked Sullivan to find the prosecutors in contempt and accused them of entrapping their client. Flynn followed this by asking Sullivan for permission to withdraw his plea, explaining prosecutors breached the plea deal when they forced him to give false testimony. His attorneys said he knowingly lied in filling out forms about his lobbying firm's work with Turkey. Sullivan rejected the request. This led to an internal review of the case. Barr appointed a top federal prosecutor in St. Louis, Jeff Jensen, to investigate the handling of Flynn's case. Last week, the attorneys cited newly disclosed FBI emails and notes to allege their client was trapped into lying. Trump pronounced him exonerated. Shortly before the Justice Department officially dropped criminal charges, veteran prosecutor Brandon Van Grack, a member of Mueller's team, withdrew from the case, showing possible disagreement with the move. Trump declared him an innocent man after it was released and accused the Obama administration of targeting Flynn. "I hope that a big price is going to be paid," said Trump, who followed this by saying, "It's treason. It's treason." The DOJ said after reviewing the new information and materials that it agreed with Flynn's legal team that his FBI interview should never have taken place because he had not had inappropriate contacts with Russians. It said the interview was conducted without any legitimate investigative basis. Jensen formally recommended to Attorney General William Barr last week that the case be dropped. This coincides with other moves he has made in the Russia investigation, saying last month that the probe started without any basis. In February he overruled a sentencing decision by prosecutors and recommended a shorter sentence for Trump friend and advisor Roger Stone. "Through the course of my review of General Flynn's case," said Jensen in a statement, "I concluded the proper and just course was to dismiss the case. I briefed Attorney General Barr on my findings, advised him on these conclusions, and he agreed." Flynn's attorneys received a series of emails and notes that had been used in the case. This included a handwritten note from a senior FBI official that showed the internal deliberations about the reason for Flynn's interview. "What's our goal? Truth/admission or to get him to lie so we can prosecute him or get him fired," wrote the official. The FBI was actually prepared to drop the investigation into whether or not Flynn was acting under the influence of Russia, according to other documents. Later, though, the White House insisted Flynn had never discussed sanctions with Kislyak, and that made FBI officials more concerned with Flynn's conversations. They kept the investigation open so they could question him. Yet, the DOJ says the FBI had no basis to continue the investigation after not finding evidence of wrongdoing. It claims there was nothing on his Russia calls to indicate an inappropriate relationship between Mr. Flynn and a foreign power. Additionally, none of the statements he made to the FBI were relevant to the underlying investigation into whether Trump's campaign and Russia were coordinating illegally. There was also internal uncertainty within the Bureau whether Flynn had lied, according to the DOJ filing. The agents who interviewed him reported he had a very sure demeanor and that then FBI Director James Comey said at the time it was a close call.